All right, so I titled the show today, Your Own Personal Bitcoin Journey. And I think that, after everything we've talked about today, I think that this is a really good segment to have right now because it just shows that everybody's in such different parts of their Bitcoin journey. Like we have people talking about multi-sig, some people ordering some multi-sig kits, and then we have people who don't know what Lightning is, like what a Lightning wallet is and what the difference is between layer one and Lightning. So it just goes to show that everybody here, even in this very small sample, is in a much different place in their Bitcoin journey. And so what I want to talk about today is just have a good sense of awareness, self-awareness around where you are in your journey. Because it's very easy to get distracted. It's very easy to look at other people in Bitcoin and say, I wish I was them. I wish I would have got into Bitcoin 5 years ago. I wish I could have as many sats in Bitcoin as they have. And it's very easy to start comparing yourself. And I think that that's the worst thing that you can possibly do. And as we move forward here in the next 12 months, like you're going to see some people, whether it's with MicroStrategy, whether it's with a different cryptocurrency, you're going to see a lot of people making a lot of money. And when people see that, their first initial reaction is to say, hey, I want that. I want to learn what they're doing. I want to start chasing that. I need to have more, right? I'm new to this, so I need to play catch up. And I think you just need to realize that even if you just got into it today, I think anybody who's here in 2024, and that's why we actually cut off the Living in the Future December 31st, because 2024, if you're here now, if you're watching this, if you happen to come across this channel, like you're so far ahead of everybody else. And so just understand where you are. Don't try to do too much. Don't get distracted. Stay focused on adding value as much as you can to the world, getting some value back, whether that's in fiat or Bitcoin, and converting that into Bitcoin. That's your main concern. Don't get distracted. Stay focused. Add value. Earn fiat or Bitcoin, and whatever you have in fiat, convert that into Bitcoin. That's the only thing that you can control. It's the only thing that you should be focused on. And you look at somebody like Michael Saylor, and yes, he's using Bitcoin as his vehicle for where he's made $10 billion in the last 4 years in profit. He's using Bitcoin as that vehicle. But the one thing that Saylor has done better than anybody else is stay focused. He's been very clear on his goal, his direction, and he hasn't wavered from that at all. And I think that that's why so many people have got on board with a guy like Saylor, is because his laser eyes isn't just related to Bitcoin, it's focus. And so I'll give you an example of kind of what, and I was going to talk about this on Monday for MicroStrategy Mondays, but this is going to be a MicroStrategy Wednesday today. But think about with MicroStrategy, and I'll give you a personal experience. It's something I went through this week with MicroStrategy. Because I'm trying to stay up to date. I'm trying to learn as much as I can about MicroStrategy so I can explain it to the audience here as best that I can. So I'm trying to take in as much information as I can about MicroStrategy and the convertible debt, the ATM, all the different things that they're doing, the call options. And so I started listening to this podcast on over the weekend. And they were talking about, I think there was one guy that just retired from his job because of MicroStrategy. And he said that he can basically earn enough income using call options within MicroStrategy to never have to work again. And I was thinking like, man, I would like that. Not that I wouldn't work, but I would like to be in a position where I don't have to worry about, a bad month or a bad, getting kicked off of YouTube for a month or whatever it is, or strike. I don't want to have to worry about that. This seems like a way better strategy for me. I want to learn how to sell call options with MicroStrategy. But then I stopped myself and I said, you know what? The people who are utilizing this strategy, the people who can benefit from this strategy right now, got into MicroStrategy when it was like $100. Before the stock split, $100. And so then I thought, you know what? Like they put in the time. They've been there. They've earned it. And I don't want to get too far out of myself here. I don't want to start learning about calls and putting my MicroStrategy at risk and, getting caught up in the leverage game. I don't need that. I'm not there yet. I wasn't there early enough to benefit where they are today. But in 4 years from now, who knows? Because if you think about it, like they've been there for a few years, they've earned that. They put in the time, they put in the work, and that's where they are today. So I thought, in 4 years from now, if I look 4 years out here, and let's say that Bitcoin has a pretty big year in 2025, I'm expecting MicroStrategy to be, double, triple, maybe more. And so if you think about that, there's going to be more stock splits, right? And the main takeaway I got from this whole conversation is like, you need a lot of MicroStrategy you need a lot of MicroStrategy, and you need a lot of knowledge for that to be successful. And so I was thinking, like, a couple of years down the road, maybe they do another stock split or another one after that. And all of a sudden, let's say I have 10 shares in MicroStrategy, all of a sudden that becomes 100, and then it becomes 1,000. And then I have 1,000 MicroStrategy shares, and I'm actually able to do more with that with less risk involved. So instead of just like trying to get into this as fast as I can, learn, put all my stuff at risk, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to focus on earning as much as I can, buying as many shares in MicroStrategy as I can, and then I'll see a stock split, and all of a sudden I'll have 100 shares in MicroStrategy, and then again, maybe 1,000 in a couple of years from now. And when I have that, I'll probably have more knowledge about how to utilize this stuff and properly leverage it without potentially losing it all. But you have to be at that stage where you have enough of it where it makes sense for you. And you cannot shortcut that. That's kind of the point of what I want to talk about today, is that you can't shortcut that. You can't shortcut the time that they were there, and you can't shortcut the work that they put in to get to where they are today. So that was kind of my main takeaway from like the whole MicroStrategy, call options, using leverage, is like, I'm not there yet, and I'm not going to pretend like I'm there yet. So what I'm going to do is just add as much value as I can, buy as many MicroStrategy shares as I can, wait for this thing to play out, have some patience, keep learning about it. And then when the time comes, maybe that'll be me one day, but that's not today. So you have to have the self-awareness. You have to have enough, understanding of where you are right now to know that you don't need everything today. You cannot shortcut this stuff. So that's kind of what the point I wanted to get across today is with Bitcoin, with MicroStrategy, with this whole thing, is that you have to put in the work and you have to be patient. And if you try to get too far ahead of that, if you try to skip that phase, then you're going to get burned badly. And I think that that's a good lesson for anybody out there who's trying to get things quicker than they deserve, whether that's through the leverage play, the 2x T-Rex MicroStrategy play. I made the mistake. I got burned. I've learned from it. I'm not doing that again because I don't know enough about it. I'm not going to keep trying to shortcut this. I'm going to put in my time. I'm going to add value. I'm going to accumulate as much as I can, Bitcoin and MicroStrategy. And when the time is right, I'll be in that position as well. But I can't get distracted. I can't lose focus, and I can't try to shortcut this thing. So that's what I want to say on that. Be aware, and that's one part of it. That also includes your hardware devices. That also includes everything around Bitcoin. Is like, just don't try to do too much too fast. It's very easy to look at people who have been in Bitcoin for 5-10 years and be like, oh man, I wish that was me. Well, it can be you. If you stay focused, you put in the work, and you have patience, that can be you. It's just not today. But they've been here. They put in the work already. So